Hey guys, it's your girl Eb, and I am back with another episode of More Than Conversation, where we do life together and talk about it. Y'all already know the vibes. Y'all see I got the girlies with me. So before we get into anything, please introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay.
Wait, pause. You're welcome.
Okay, I'll go first. My name is Sanivia, but I'm more commonly known as Cece.
Yes, ma'am. Is your mic on? It is.
Yes, it is. My name is Nerly. Some people call me Nerls.
I didn't know people call you Nerl.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Nikki. I'm glad Ebony let me come back on her podcast. I didn't mess up bad enough.
You're welcome.
You're back.
So, y'all, before we get into any topics, how are you doing? How was your week? What's one thing you learned? Give us something, very much something.
My week was good. Yesterday was end of month at work. It was a little bit more stressful. One thing that I have been challenging myself to do is to look for God in every single type of moment. And so there's this song that I was listening to one day I was just at work at my desk, and I was just listening to the song Here Again by Hillsong, and the chorus goes, "I'm not enough unless you come." And I was just listening.
You forgot to sing it.
I'm not enough.
Dang, she gonna try us like that.
I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again?
Yes.
And so then the next part goes, because all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again?
Yeah.
And so just listening to that, I was just like, we strive so much, because I was just I've been feeling like on the verge of a burnout. And
Same.
I feel like a lot of times we strive so hard in like our human sense, like we strive for perfection, which has never been a requirement of God for us to begin with. But a lot of things that we strive to do in like our fleshly efforts, it's not enough, because God's not in the equation, and it's never going to be enough until he comes into the equation.
That's
and so
true.
I just been, once I had that revelation, I was like, I need to be more intentional about inviting God into like every
everything.
different area.
That is so good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Nerls?
yes, girls.
I'm gonna start calling you that.
Nerls.
That's my TikTok. My TikTok name.
It
Yeah,
is.
Y'all heard it first. Follow her on TikTok, period.
Gotta give her her things.
So,
Put the mic closer.
I would say my week was pretty good. What did I learn? Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid.
Better ask them questions,
So
honey.
if you want to know something, the sooner you ask, the sooner you get your answer.
I like that.
So, ask the question, no matter how weird you might think it may be, no matter how uncomfortable it may seem, to get the result, you got to put
Ask
in the
the
work.
question.
So go ahead. Yeah.
My week was good. I don't know what I learned. What's so funny?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Are you
Trinice's
laughing at
dancing.
me?
No, Trinice was
okay.
dancing, and it was so fun.
I don't know what I learned. I don't know.
You learned how to get through another week.
Listen, that is a
Facts.
whole blessing on its own. I want to say, I'm working on a couple of teachings, and I feel whenever I work on like teachings, I learn from that already. Like I feel like God is teaching me a lesson, and so just I'm learning about. We're all worship leaders, or I don't hate saying that. That's so weird.
We're on the worship team.
We sing.
We're
We
all-
sing for
we
Jesus.
sing
That's
for
easy.
Jesus
That's
on
easier for me to say
Sundays
than
when
say
we're
I'm a worship
scheduled.
leader, because that's just. But we're all singers. But I feel like because we get so used to doing it, we don't ever get back to like the heart of worship. So I'm writing a
That's so
message about
true.
worship, and
That's
I'm just
so
like,
true.
oh, it's getting back to like.
I'm
Where the beginning, like I was starting it all over the
heart of worship, because it's all about you. What's wrong with y'all?
It's all about you, Jesus.
What's wrong with y'all?
So yeah, I could say that's
You
what I'm
joined
learning.
right in,
I'm
though.
learning back. It's kind of like, oh my God, reminding myself like worship is sacrifice. It's surrendering. It's laying down yourself. It's giving your all. And I keep thinking about the woman with the alabaster jar and how she poured it all out. and gave her all to Jesus. And I just feel like in all my worship, not only on stage but in my daily life, I just need to be able to pour everything that I have at the feet of Jesus and then just give him a worship that is pleasing to him. And that's my ultimate best.
And worship is in everything we do too. And I kind of forget that. Like everything you do, commit, like do it as if you were doing it unto God, not man.
It's
so
a lifestyle.
Worship is a lifestyle. So it's just like everything you do, like ask yourself, if God was to hire you right now, how much would you be getting paid? Because baby, sometimes it's just not giving. But yeah, so you guys are mostly single. Mostly. I say mostly because
I'm single in the eyes of the government, and that's about as far as that goes.
Yeah, my good sis is in a relationship stilly.
Yes.
But what does Christian dating look like for women these days?
The ghetto.
I was gonna say the whole ghetto. Well, dating in general is the ghetto right now. So it's not even Christian dating.
Can't relate,
dating in general.
Off the market.
I know that's
almost
right.
2 years, period.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna retire, period, one day. I promise. One day, because it's just a lot. But
it's not today though.
It's not gonna be today. Soon, when we'll ask the Holy Spirit to work that out of me. But yeah, what is the ghetto? What is it like now? Seeing that we're all adults, like real life adults with real lives and jobs and
Real
stuff
life.
like that, and we're doing things like, what does dating look like? Like, what's the dating pool like? How do you set your boundaries as women after God's heart right now?
God.
Like,
good.
abstinence, all that
This is
fun
good
stuff.
These are great questions.
Yeah.
These are great questions.
I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at everybody.
These are great questions.
Because I'm over here waiting for the tea. You guys have to give me the tea because I have no idea.
Who wants to go first?
I already told y'all it's ghetto.
It's ghetto. Well, dating is ghetto in general, but Christian dating, I feel as a Christian woman, I don't even want to say Christian dating because I feel like people set so many standards for Christian dating
It's giving
that
Christian
are like
mingle.
a little, it's giving not even Christian mingle. It's giving like it's a little wild and unsustainable. So realistically,
tell us the
Christian
truth.
dating, it's hard. It's dating is hard in general in this day and age because of technology, because of the way people meet each other.
Podcasts.
But yeah, dating is hard. I don't know about y'all, but it's really hard. It's hard to find the one. But not only that, but then you have to remember, like, there's added things like boundary things, like like what are your boundaries? What do you believe in? What is this and that? So then you have to add on those things, and then you don't want to be unequally yoked. I don't want to be unequally yoked, but not only because unequally yoked goes beyond of just like, oh, you have to believe the same thing I believe, but you have to be going in the same direction that I'm going.
Exactly.
In.
So true.
And I'm walking.
I agree.
So
1,000% agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I had something and I lost it. I wanted to touch on how I feel like they kind of set Christian women up for failure when it comes to Christian dating, because they tell us, they give us all these rules and these like boundaries and like these things to stay within, but like they don't give these same rules, boundaries, and like stipulations to the men.
Oh yeah,
Right.
So
definitely.
we're expected to carry like the brunt of like the spirituality in the relationship, and that's not even biblical.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they tell us to find these godly men that love God more than us, that, submit to God. And granted, I'm not submitted to nobody that's not submitted to God. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Period.
But they don't teach men how to submit to God. They don't
Exactly.
teach.
That's so true.
Yep. We are the ones that have all these conferences telling us to wait until marriage, telling us how to be a wife, how to do this, how to do that. It's a lot of preparing for us, but I feel like the men don't get the same preparation.
Right.
So who are we really meeting to marry? Like, who are we really getting out there? And I think the average man are not doing the things that Christian women are doing. Like,
It's not like we said in the podcast a couple of episodes ago about like what young men need. It's like the your body is a temple thing is preached so heavily to women. Like, watch who you give your body to, all this stuff. And it's like for the men, it's just like, you can do whatever. like you won't feel it anyway. And it's crazy because it's like women are kind of being taught that they have to teach the men, but the men are supposed to be teaching the women. Like the men are supposed to be the main teachers in the household, and it's just like you always see like it's the women having to convince the men to go to church, convince the men to read the Bible, convince the men to be abstinent. Like it's always the woman like that has to set that standard or that boundary. And then when men actually have those standards and set those boundaries, they're homosexual.
And I don't think we don't find them attractive. They don't always have to be homosexual. I don't want to go that far. I feel like in Caribbean culture, if a man says no to sexual advances, are you crazy? What's wrong with you?
I don't think they're
can't say
automatically homosexual, but I feel like they're automatically labeled as
that's
homosexual.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They get
or
that
they're
label,
lame, because you think about like what they said about Sierra and Russell.
Thank you for saying
Russell
that.
Wilson, and Russell Wilson's a good Christian man, and he's a man that leads,
a wholesome man,
and he was abstinent, and he did all that stuff, and people are like, oh, he's lame. She should have stayed with Future, who got like 13 kids. Like, you know, back to the argument, or the person's lame. They're lame.
But in the same token, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is a perfect way to highlight the double standard. People are telling Sierra to stay with Future, but are also saying Sierra's not good enough for Russell because she had a child. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just showing how like all this emphasis is placed on the women to be perfect, to not do anything. But the men are they're actually encouraged to live these reckless lifestyles that are not, they don't line up with somebody that's trying to be a husband. And so I feel
why are we teaching men to be husbands?
So I was gonna say, I feel like we're preparing a lot of women to be wives to men that just want to be boyfriends, if that.
And they want wife treatment.
They want mothers.
They want that too. They want wife treatment, and it's just like it's just not giving. Like you can't be serious. And what I don't like is that like women just, they want to give babies to boyfriends, but don't want to give. They want to give babies to boyfriends. They want to give up their bodies to boyfriends, but refuse to like cook for them or something. Like it was a picture I sent in the group chat where it was just like women are so quick to give up their bodies, but they refuse to make a man a meal. Like you would prefer to give your body over cooking a meal that's gonna take you maybe an hour, if that, 45 minutes, 20. Like why is that? I don't get it.
I actually think I get it. I'm not saying it's right, but I do understand.
No, I get it, because it's like labor.
It's not even the labor, but cooking is more so, and this is just to show you how backward society is. Cooking is more associated with being a wife than sex is, even though sex is a thing that's supposed to be stipulated for marriage. And so because of how backwards our society has become, cooking is now more intimate than sex.
I think it's hard too, because the Bible doesn't talk about dating, at least not exclusively.
Yeah, there's no such thing as
back then. It was you have
really
20
dating.
cows. I have 20 cows. I want your daughter.
Exactly.
I will work 7 years and then another 7. Just to get
But you know what? That's the thing. So we get taught. Because while y'all were talking, I was like, we get taught be like Ruth and Boaz. But men should be taught like Jacob, even though Jacob was a schemer and a liar. But he worked hard. He worked hard for Rachel. He worked for her.
Yes, he did.
Did a job and worked. And they don't get taught like, oh, you need to work for the relationship that you want. Because if they get taught that and they go to men's conference and they talk about Jacob as much as they tell us about Ruth, then maybe they would get to understand like, hey, build me a house, and maybe then
then build me a house for me to cook in
and then maybe then we'll be like I don't like like work for the relationship. If you work and work hard and be a man of God and learn how to lead, then everything else will be like kind of follow.
That's true.
When it comes to having a woman that's going to be in it, like a woman, I don't mind following a man that is leading and submitting to God and being a good guy. I don't mind it, and consistent.
I think as Christians, they love to use Ruth and Boaz for some reason. They love that story. But I feel like that story can be misinterpreted sometimes.
Yeah.
Because in that day, like Ruth and Naomi, like they were trying to find her a husband because they needed to survive, basically.
It was survival,
In
yeah.
that age, like, you know, the men, they were the one that was bringing home the bacon, you know, bringing home money. They took care of their wives. So without having a male in the household, they were basically trying to survive. So that's another aspect that, you know, Christians don't really talk about. But in this day and age where women are like advancing, they could pay their own bills, like they're doing their own thing and are very independent. Using that story, it can get kind of like, you know, a little
It's
gray.
muggy.
Yeah.
I always say it's a love story between Ruth and God, because that's how I take it. Because in the beginning, she wasn't, you know, a believer in Christ, but she fell in love with God, and that's what I take it as, more of a love story between them two than her and Boaz. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Christian dating. That's why I said it's archaic. It's not like, it's
Yep,
not
exactly.
to the times. It's not to anything we
dating.
got going on right now. And then the
Yeah.
hard part, like we said, we're saying, oh, the guys, men aren't in the church to begin with.
Yep.
More women serve than men, especially
Yes.
like in our age group.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they do serve, sometimes it's like, not even just men, like in general, a lot of the young people, they're not connecting with God personally.
Yeah.
The most God that they connect with is in community at church. So they're not doing like the personal work, the personal reading, the personal connection
Exactly.
with God. So when that's not happening, it's like they just stay surface level. Like there's no depth to the
Yeah.
relationship with God. So it's just like they can't really be in depth with you. So when you're doing the work and the other person is not, then it's just like there's gonna be that unequally yoked thing going on, because
Yeah.
you are chasing after God, you are doing your best to be abstinent, you are setting clear boundaries, and then they just like, we can do whatever. Like, yeah, I'm Christian and I serve in the church, but we can have sex still. You know, we can do whatever. Like, it's just whatever. There's no intentionality in their relationship with God. It's just like, I come here, I serve, I leave. That's it.
Yeah.
And that affects where the relationship goes. Like, if a man knows who he is in Christ, first of all, and he's done the work to know God in order to even be able to teach you about him, at that point, it's like, it's not going to be shaky. He's going to know what he wants. He's going to be very clear. The dates are going to be intentional. Like, there's going to be like, he plans things. He knows what he's looking for. Like, the relationship will be started on a firm foundation. But if you don't know what you're doing, don't know where you're going, don't answer to nobody.
Yeah.
And like, no, just no, like, no one is going to want to be with you, or you'd want to be with them because you see the potential that God has placed on their life.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, they're not tapping in. So then you stressed out. I need you to read the Bible. I need you to do this. And it's like, they can't do it for us.
No.
Yeah.
They have to do it because they want to connect with God. And if it's not about God, then it ain't. If God isn't in it, it's not going to work.
Yeah. I think it's important to have at least a foundation. Like, if a man has a foundation, a relationship with Jesus, I think that's important. Sometimes, and I was watching a video the other day, and she was basically saying how we over spiritualize dating. And what she was trying to say was basically like, we expect him to do a 21-day fast. We expect him to just do like most of the things that we do because we're taught to do it. And then going to your point, we are the ones that go to church. We are the ones that's there. They're not even in the building. So we're expecting something that we may not see. And it's because the average man, they're about their money. They're trying to get money. And they're trying to build. Let's just say, like, they're just trying to build. But when it comes to Christianity, a lot of the times it's the woman, the girlfriend or the wife that's bringing them to church.
It's the woman that's
Yeah,
taking the kids.
it's-
She's taking the
yeah,
kids. He's
she's-
sleeping in. She's teaching the kids the Bible and reading scripture and praying with them, and he's asleep.
Yeah. So the average man, like the one that you will see in the grocery store or, you know, anywhere just walking around, most likely he is not the one that's going to church, going to the conferences, fasting, all of that stuff.
And if you find
But
him,
he knows the
if you
Lord.
find him,
He knows the
They
Lord.
know the Lord.
He
They've
knows
been to
the
church
Lord.
when they were little, but
yeah, but he's
Yeah.
not actively, you know,
yeah,
doing that.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
There's no active.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I just want to know where they expect us to find these Christian men if they're not
Listen.
going to church.
Listen.
If they in the church, they probably married.
Yeah.
not
They
even
are.
married
old.
because they be in the church and be demons. I'm just
Jesus.
They be in the church and they be
Yo.
not
You ain't
the
lying, though.
holiest
You ain't
ones.
lying.
You better off with the one in the street than
My
the one in
God.
the church
We
sometimes.
talked about that.
You know
before,
what? That's
too.
true.
Don't
That's
let
true.
him. Don't let him be a drummer.
Ooh,
I
Not
was just
coming-
about to say the
Not
musicians
coming
now.
for the church
The musicians.
musicians.
be the dogs.
Not the
Listen.
church musicians.
I'll be staying
Ooh.
away from him. I just
listen.
I learn from other people's mistakes. You know.
Wow.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the church musicians.
That's so true. I don't
Stay
know.
away
I don't
from
know.
this.
Because
That's
sometimes
crazy.
they're in the house. They hear the word. But it's just,
You know, sometimes they don't even hear the word. You have people that go to church
That's-
and they play the instrument and they go in the back where the musicians be and they don't hear the word.
that's true.
They don't get the word.
You know what?
They
No,
around.
but the ones that know the word are the worst. I'm telling you. I'm being serious. They be the real ones. You be
Did-
like,
did
did
he
did
really-
someone take over your body?
Did he really say that sex was for marriage? Didn't he say that whoever you have sex with, you're married to? Let's get married.
Look at this manipulation.
But that's exactly. But that's how it
Manipulation
goes.
going
That's
on.
exactly how it
That's
goes.
how it goes.
They be
Oh
trying to
my
manipulate
gosh.
us.
You ain't gonna
Manipulate
manipulate me.
Just manipulate. It makes. It's just so sad because that's why a lot of young people are losing hope in marriage. They're losing hope in love.
That's
Um,
so true. Yeah.
And a lot of young men need therapy.
Oh yeah.
And not even just them. A lot of young women need therapy.
Yeah.
A lot of us,
we all
period.
we all
Yeah,
need therapy.
all of us.
Everybody needs
Therapy,
therapy, but a lot of
because
people
you're
need
not
to be
looking
whole.
for. You're not looking for a spouse. You're looking for a parent.
No, but they're looking. A lot of people need to be whole and understand and need to be occupied, like love themselves. A lot of people go and are dating people and they're broken.
They need
and
to
they're half
heal.
of a person and they don't even love themselves.
Yeah.
So if you don't love yourself, how are you gonna know
If someone loves
what
you.
no, but what love you deserve?
Yeah.
Like, what do you deserve if you don't ever love yourself? So you'll take any kind of love. Like, you'll take any, but the first person that says they love you, you'll take it as love and you'll think you
Yeah.
deserve that because you have not said, I deserve this. Like, I love
Yeah.
myself enough to be, oh, I could be alone. I'm okay. I'm not saying God, don't give me that. But I love myself enough to know when I'm not being treated right.
Right.
Yeah.
To know what I deserve.
Right.
And I can tell somebody, like, I deserve this. And I know I deserve this.
Yeah.
Because I can give
Yeah.
myself this and more. So, and a lot of people don't know that. So that's why
Yeah.
even therapy, like a lot of women, a lot of men, and I think that's the downfall. And the most, like, a lot of people finding out who they are is like, oh, I didn't know because I didn't know who I was. And I fell in love with this person and I became who they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
I think vulnerability is missing because men feel like I was watching something today that was talking about this. Not even just men, we in general feel like we can't be vulnerable or open. And we have this thing where we feel like we have to be strong. But they were like, who told us that?
Yeah.
Why? Like, what's the reason we have to be strong? What's the reason why we think we can't cry? Jesus wept.
I was just about to
That's
say
that's
that
the whole that's it. That's the verse.
it goes against everything that the Bible teaches us to do. The Bible says, confess your sins to one another, lean on us. Like, we are supposed to, like, love each other as you love yourself.
The
Like,
Bible tells us to grieve and lament. I did not even know that. Like, we
Yeah.
want to be these strong, never cry, never hurt
Yeah.
people.
I
And
am
it's
a
just
cry
we want to be strong
baby.
all the time, but forget, like, the word tells us, like, when we
Oh,
are
yeah.
weak, in our weakness,
he's made strong.
And, like, come on. So we just want to be strong,
Yeah.
strong for everything. And then men are just like, they feel like they have to hold everything in. They can't show emotion. They can't do nothing. But we need, as women, we need to see that. We need to know that you have emotion. But sadly, these generations are coming up now. Everybody want to be cold-hearted. Nobody want to have feelings. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you want a woman to do everything for you and be everything for you. And all you want to do is provide. I understand going to work. Having a job is hard. But you can't just have a job and that's the only thing you do in a relationship.
Because newsflash, most of these women got jobs too.
I mean, like, I'm working, you working, so what else? Now it's getting to the point with women where it's just like, what can you add to my life that I don't already have or do for myself? And as women, we still have to be careful with that, because it's okay to be dependent on your spouse. That it's supposed to be that way. You are supposed to depend on another human, not per se for your happiness. They are your helpmate. And if you don't depend on them, how are they actually going to be there to help you? Not just even help you do things physically, like emotionally, there for you to lean on, talk to, grow with. Like, if you ain't dependent on them and you have this I can do bad all by myself attitude, then where's the man? Where is he gonna get in? Like, we have, as women, we have become so hard. Like, we have hardened.
It's true. And
ourselves.
I feel like society has conditioned us to become hardened. I mean, especially as black women. We're all black women. We can be real about it. Like, I don't want to be hard. I enjoy being soft, but because of how I get treated, and I don't have that option. And it's funny enough, yesterday at Bible study, I was talking about how affection used to make me really uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to hold your hand. I don't want your arm around me. Like, don't touch me. It would make me but I've grown now. I'm Olaf. I love hugs. Give me a hug. But it took me a really long time to do that, because I wasn't allowed to be vulnerable. I wasn't allowed to be soft. You know, even having an absentee parent, and even having an absentee parent that I lived with, step parent that I lived with, and having that coldness, I was taught, like, okay, and it not obviously, but these are men that are cold. They think that their presence and money is what parenting
enough,
is.
right?
And so the whole like dynamic shift starts from like the parenting. Like, there's not, the men in the houses aren't really, if they're parenting, they're not emotionally involved. And so I was raised expecting emotional coldness and absence from men.
That emotional neglect to get you, boy.
Exactly. And so it took, even with like my women friends, like, it was hard for me to accept like hugs and affection and all of that, because I was just and my mom was always affectionate, but I think always wanting that affection from a parent that never gave it to me, I just shut it down. And so it wasn't until college where I had really awesome and pretty invasive friends that they kind of forced me out of that bubble of like, give me a hug. And like, I would have friends, once they found out what dorm I'm in, they would knock on my door, I came to cuddle and take a nap with you. And I'm like, what's that?
That was me in college. I was that college friend. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I did that all the time with my best friend. Like, we took naps together,
and
same bed.
At first, it was so weird to me. But then, like, I was just talking about that. Like, those people were needed in my space, because it really taught me how to accept affection and love, even if it wasn't a platonic sense, because it translates to so many different areas of your life.
Facts. We're taught not to show emotion, even as children. Didn't realize that. They were talking about it on this thing called Unpack that Embassy City Church does. And they were saying we're conditioned as children to not show emotion. Yeah. Like, not show emotion to hurt. Like, our parents beat us and said, stop crying.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't make me give you something to cry for. You just did. You literally just slapped the piss out of me. And now you want me to hold all of that in. So we're conditioned to not show emotion to things that hurt.
Funny enough, I'll add on that. I actually saw something today that said our parents spanking us teaches us that somebody can love and abuse us and still claim to love us. Yeah. Well, they can hurt and abuse us and still claim to love us.
Even the Bible tells us that God like chastises who he loves, but like sometimes we don't realize. I didn't even realize that I just looked at God like this guy that was just always mad at me for like just not doing what I was supposed to do, not truly understanding how much love he actually has, how much he looked at me and said I was good. Like how much love he has in his eyes when he looks at us. Like we are conditioned and we don't realize it to think as soon as we sin, like God don't love us no more. Like he's just angry. And he's not. He's so full of grace and mercy, but we don't see that side because our parents honestly taught us how to look at God. So when they beat us and do all this stuff and then still say that they love us, we think that God is the exact same way.
Right.
Like I'm gonna beat you down into nothingness and then tell you I love you. That's not who God is. Like he's very loving, and because we don't know that, and because young men don't know that, it's hard for us to get together and feel any type of emotion or love or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we get together with people and just we want to date and then try to act like we don't like them.
Yep.
That don't make no sense. You out dating
Yep.
and you telling yourself, I ain't even gonna let myself.
Yep.
I'm not gonna let yours. Like why not? Like why not open up?
Yeah. I think sometimes we don't realize the same emotions that we have, they have. So they cry too. We may not see it, but they cry. They get, angry too. Like they have all the same emotions that we have.
Yeah.
They're just taught to close it in. We kind of express it a little bit more as women, and it was more acceptable, I guess. It's more acceptable for us. But for guys, it's like, if they cry, they're just like, come on, man up, get it together, But it's different, but we have the same emotions. We have to, I think that's something that we don't realize.
Jesus had the same emotions
in
too.
relationships. Though I realize that guys, they kind of like react to our emotions how they react to their own. Like, what you crying for, man? Like, granted, there's a lot of care. There's a lot of care behind the what you crying for, but that's the extent of like emotional care that they know how to express, because that's the extent of emotional care that they receive.
Exactly.
And I think also it, like what you're crying for, because it hurts them to see us in pain and to cry.
Right.
So they're in pain, but they don't want to express it.
Exactly.
But I feel like this generation is unpacking a lot of a trauma.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing men in more community. I'm seeing men talk
so
more.
true.
I'm
Going to
seeing
therapy.
men being there for each other way more.
Yeah, and it's so
than
beautiful
women.
to watch.
It's so beautiful to watch, to see, like, and to even like watch podcasts like I forgot Ocho Cinco's podcast that he has, that one. And when
I
they
enjoy
sat
it,
there and when his mom died and they were crying and he was like, it's so hard, like that made me cry. Like, wow, I've never seen a group, like to see a group of men and just grown men talk about their feelings and emotions.
They're doing life together wholeheartedly, bro.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to do that. And I think that we should just, as women, we're allowing to giving them space to, but they also need to be able to be vulnerable. And I feel like men communicate completely different than we do.
Yeah.
Because we will communicate every single emotion and feeling that we have.
Yeah.
And they will not.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I'm straight.
And then I feel like sometimes, because I've seen different videos talking about this subject, and they'll say, I can't express myself because I don't trust her. Because when I do show myself, like show my emotions, she kind of changes it up and feels like I'm not a man. So I've heard that argument too. Like sometimes they don't feel comfortable because they feel like they can't trust the girl that they're with.
Or the girl makes it about them.
Yeah.
The girl
But
is
that's
me.
what I always say, because I always
girl
hear
is
men be like, oh, this girl does that. I'm like, that's the women y'all choosing to be around, because there's women that are honestly like, that are emotionally mature enough that if you were to be vulnerable with them, if you were to like, they would be like, okay, I understand, and it's okay. And so I think that's also what you're looking for. And are you looking for someone that's emotionally mature? Are you looking for someone and that goes for women too.
Yeah.
There's a whole level to being. You could be 40 years old and be emotionally stunted.
Very true.
Yeah, very
true.
emotionally immature. You don't got no emotional intelligence
Yes.
whatsoever. And
Whatsoever.
like, there's some people being me sometimes, where I have a hard time like not making things about myself. I struggle very much with main character syndrome.
Yeah,
Because
me too.
every time people are talking about something, I gotta find some way. Well, I used to, because I'm realizing that now I'm being more aware of it. But it's just like, one time I made Ashton mad about something, and I knew I made him mad. And the cycle is usually when I make him mad or when he's upset at something I did, I get upset because he's upset at something I did to him. And that's not fair. He's like, I can't even be upset because when I get upset, you get upset. So he was just venting to me about how upset I made him. And he was like, now I can't even be mad because look, you mad, right? And I honestly wasn't. And at that moment, I wasn't upset because it really made me realize, yo, this man can't even be mad on his own at you, because if he's mad at you for something you did, now you upset and mad at him because he's mad at you. And I don't realize that when I'm the drama. I didn't realize am I the drama? Is it me?
I the villain?
But now that I know that, I try my best to make it a safe space where when he is feeling some type of way, he can talk to me about it. And it takes some time because the truth hurts when, you know, like someone's trying to tell you, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, I like, that's rough. But that's relationship. Like, you really, if you want to be with somebody, you're not going to be perfect. Yeah. And newsflash, everybody is going to hurt you at some point. Yeah. You just have to find the people that's worth the pain. And not saying like that's everybody can like cheat on you and break your heart and then you got to stay because ride or die. No. Love does not always look like that. It don't even have to look like that, period. Come on. Because that's he cheated on me, he did this, but I still rode for him. I do believe that cheaters can redeem themselves. I am fully like, if you cheat once and you commit yourself to undoing that and making your relationship better, wholeheartedly agree. Now, sis, if he's a serial cheater, just leave. He can't keep doing it.
Because at that point, he's decided how he wants to treat you.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're not gonna allow that that mindset of he cheated, but no. Between that and domestic violence, we just gonna walk out the gate. But I didn't notice at first, but I tend to, when he upset at me for something I did and I didn't notice, it's like, well, you mad. And I don't know about y'all, but you could say something to me and my brain calculates it a totally different day.
I hear something that you didn't even say.
And then it just, and he's just like, I didn't even say that.
You can say, I like when you add tomatoes to your food. And I'll be like, wow, so everything that I have ever made is just
without tomatoes
horrible and can't nobody eat it. And like, that was me. And that's my natural default setting. But I have to be intentional because it is so exhausting to live your life from an offended position.
Yo, you get offended by and that's why it's so hard to be in relationship with some women, because
everything
women,
is an offense.
You're offended, like you walking around picking up offenses, or you like getting upset at things or offended by things that have nothing to do with you. Like you take you personalize.
Well, it ain't for you, and it's not even for you.
If Ashton is, I know he's at work, and I text him, and he don't answer me. My brain, he don't even want to talk to you for real. And I'm just like, it's still hard for me to understand that. So in some relationships, you know, each person like needs like to have like a man cave or a she shed or whatever. And it was hard for me. It's still hard for me to grasp that Ashton enjoys being around me, because I'm so accustomed to people finding me annoying. I've been called annoying all my life by everyone, friends, family, boyfriends, you name it.
You're my favorite kind of annoying though.
Thanks.
I'm just kidding. You're not annoying.
But like when he says like I literally enjoy being around you. Like I love to be around you. Like I don't need to like leave and go this place and that place. Like your company means the world to me, and I'm just over here like I'm not used to that. I will jokingly say I know he's tired of me, and he would answer me seriously, no, I'm not. I never said that. Why do you keep saying that? But it's because I'm even used to like my mom like getting like overwhelmed with me, because I can be overwhelming, but she'd just be like, I'm gonna need you to tone it down. But he's never done that. But because I've gotten that from so many people, I was passing that off onto him. And a lot of like
that made me cry.
A lot of like women, like we're women here, we love y'all, but like no, y'all need to get it together. Everything is not about you. And I feel this so heavy in my spirit. You cannot save anybody.
No.
Jesus died for that. You did not. You cannot save everybody. You cannot change that man. A man ain't gonna change unless he wants to change. You can plant the seeds. It ain't your job to grow them.
You better.
So if he don't want to go to church and read his Bible and get closer to God, then
leave him be.
That's
hit
his
the dough.
decision.
Hit the dough. That's on him. His life, his responsibility. He has to answer to God for himself.
Yeah.
That is not your job. You will not be paid. There's no OT being offered. Sweetie, clock out. Just clock out.
I agree. Actually, you got a little thug tear out of me because I agree. And a lot of times, and this goes back to Nikki's point about entering relationships whole, because we need to learn our traumas and our triggers, because relationships, they gonna trigger the bejeebus
mess out of
you.
you. Yep. Everything gonna trigger you. Why you breathing like that?
And so if you are aware of your triggers and your traumas, you can be like, okay, my reaction has nothing to do with this situation at hand. And so I understand, like, with the whole thinking I'm annoying, that's me. Like, I actually had a really nice, like, come to Jesus moment in my relationship, because he was mad at me about something and I was so devastated and I felt like crap, and I was just like, I'm the worst girlfriend ever. He's gonna leave me. And it was not even that big of a deal. But
me every time.
But because I feel like neglect is and rejection, that's one of my triggers and that's one of my wounds. And so I felt like, and he wasn't rejecting me at all in that moment. He was literally like the same thing. He was just expressing something about how he felt, and I felt so bad that it triggered. And I didn't make it about me. I didn't make it about my emotions, thankfully, because I'm aware of it. I was just like, okay, whew. Like, I feel like he's gonna leave me. I don't know. Like, and I was internally spiraling, but I was like, I know that my spiraling, it doesn't have anything to do with him, so let me not project that onto him. But I did let him into how I was feeling, and he was like, I'm not, why you think, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I understand that's what you're used to, and I'm understand that has been the reoccurring theme before me, but like, that ain't my MO. And so just being able to, because I was aware of my triggers, I was able to handle that situation in a way where I could get that reassurance. Because if I wasn't aware and I'm just like, you gonna leave me, you gonna that, like, that doesn't want to allow somebody to give you that, like, you know. So,
and I keep preaching this: if it doesn't come up and out of your mouth through words, it's gonna come up and out of your body through actions. So you gotta talk. We have to talk about it, even if we know it's not true. You gotta let those thoughts out so they can be addressed accordingly, because if you don't, then you upset and the other person don't even know why you upset,
and
for
they
real.
Thinking they did something, and really and truly it has nothing to do with them.
He spilled water on the floor and now you screaming just out loud, and you really upset, not realizing that you're screaming because when you were younger you spilled water on the floor and you got yelled at for it. So now you see water spilled on the floor and you yelling at him, not realizing that he's not the issue. That's not the issue. You need to address your trauma, because if you don't, you project it onto your dating relationships. Like, there is a disconnect, but there is, like, the way you were raised and the way you're gonna date people connect in ways that we don't even realize. The way you are attached to your parents affects how you are going to attach to the person that you date.
Learn behaviors and everything.
Exactly.
Learn behaviors. If you experience, like I always tell people this, if you have a parent that's an alcoholic, you're either going to be an alcoholic or you're never going to touch a drink in your life.
Yep.
So
I have, it's a personal theory of mine. It's called aversion versus inclination. Any trauma that you're exposed to as a child, there's two reactions. Aversion, you're gonna completely straight, or you're gonna be inclinated to recreate that same pattern.
So my biological parents have been married multiple times, so therefore I refuse if I get that is the only person I ever want to be married to. I don't want to be in multiple marriages. I just don't want to be continuously attached to someone. I do not. I want one person. I moved around a lot. I hate moving. I like stability.
Same.
So therefore,
oh my gosh.
because I grew up in chaos, I search for stability. I search for someone who can give me stability, who could be the normal that I did not receive. So it's good. Like you said, it's the aversion. So it's kind of learn your trauma and learn it. And then not only that, but also allow people to be in your relationship with you. Because a lot of people like to date by themselves and they have problems and they have issues. Have people, like, the way you can get a mentor, get one in your relationship. Like, have someone you can talk to. Like, you can tell them about your relationship. They can give you good advice. Not your home girl that's single. Because let me tell you something. Single, and I'm not saying
Sheila gonna get you in trouble.
She gonna get in trouble, and I'm the one person. I stay out of people's relationships. This ain't none of my business, okay? But there's people who really are preying on downfalls of people's relationships. Like, they want to see you fail, so they will purposely give you bad advice because they want you to be miserable like they are.
Agreed.
So make sure you're with godly people that
that
that want the best for you.
Yeah.
That can be like, hey, this is this and this, and therapy. Couples therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therapy for you, couples therapy together. Therapy is beautiful, and then you get to learn how to speak to that person, because it is two different people coming together.
Yeah, two different lifestyles, two different upbringings and backgrounds, and you have to learn how to make that like fit. So whose tradition are we keeping? Whose tradition? Who family we gonna be with on Thanksgiving? When we gonna visit this one? Who mama coming
talk about that, and then they get married and have kids, and they be like, I don't know this person. You didn't ask that person.
So, but here's another thing why it's also important. I think couples therapy and checking in with each other periodically is important, because you're not the same person at the beginning of your relationship as you are even 3 months into your relationship.
3 months the next day.
Women grow. Women grow and evolve.
Not
constantly.
Constantly. One week I like oats, the next week I hate oats. One week I like bananas, the next week I don't want to smell a banana.
You have to catch up with your
You have to continue being curious. The reason why a lot of relationships and marriages don't work is because people stop being curious about their person. They stop being curious about their spouse. They stop dating. They stop everything, and they just get in this comfortable space. And that's where infidelity comes in, because then you find something else that's real exciting.
So you want
think,
something different.
You think you got to go outside for it, and that's the same thing again. They're not talking about it, so
they're just put on a wig. Like, I could give you different.
They're just
the grass is never greener on the other side.
No, it's green when you water it. You gotta water your grass. You can't buy a house and never do landscaping.
Come on.
It don't go like that. Your grass is gonna get overgrown. And then you're gonna have snakes in the grass.
You can't even see them.
You can't, exactly. So you have to be more intentional. There's intentionality with dating. Like, you cannot text everything. Gee whiz, go somewhere. If you're trying to be intentional about being abstinent, don't. Please, I'm a zoom in on my face. Stop getting in rooms with these people by yourself and expecting not to get sexual. Please, for the love of God.
Have boundaries.
The Bible says flee from sexual sin. That man said run. It's like you playing in the fire and you don't want to get burned. It makes no sense.
Boundaries are real. If whatever you're like, okay, like, I know what tempts me. So therefore, it's like, and I tell people, if we ain't going to, what is open at 10 o'clock at night?
But liquor stores and legs.
What is open at 10 o'clock? If we ain't going nowhere at 10 o'clock at night, what is open? Let me know. Because if you're not taking me out in a decent time, ain't nothing open. I'm not going to your house. I can't. Because So it's like, you have to know your boundaries. And I think, especially in dating in general, I don't even want to say Christian dating. Dating in general, know your boundaries. Even if it's not abstaining or anything, what are your boundaries? What is your complete, absolute no? And what is your okay? I can maneuver around this. But know your boundaries and have boundaries, and then and tell the person. A lot of people aren't honest. They're gonna wait till like 3 months in and be like, oh, this is what I want. I'm very honest, and so I can let you out the door real quick. Like, listen, this is what I want. This is what my life looks like.
Don't wear the wrong shirt around Nikki, all right? Do not wear the wrong shirt.
No, he had a Wu-Tang sweater. Listen.
Don't wear
Nikki.
the
She
wrong
knows what she wants.
Wu-Tang
She knows
sweater.
what she wants. She
He
is
was also a
self-aware.
rapper, and like
That's
it
all
was
you had to
a
say.
lot building up.
Was it a SoundCloud?
Yeah, it was a lot of I was letting slide.
The sweatshirt,
and then that shirt, I saw the shirt, and I was just like, do I really like you? Do I want to invest? Do I see myself marrying someone that wears a Wu-Tang sweater? No. And it was just like, no, like, it's done. Like,
You're so funny.
But yeah, boundaries. Be real.
Yes.
Pro
Be
tip
real.
about boundaries: if you can't think of anything that you will absolutely not accept, that means your boundaries are non-existent.
yeah.
Get
Oh
some.
yeah. Get some.
Get
some.
balance.
And I'm
If
not talking
quick.
about, oh, he gotta have a 6 figures. He gotta, no. I'm talking about like real stuff. Like, cause you need to.
That's
know
not even a.
who
That's
are
a
you
preference.
Who are you
Yeah.
tying yourself to? Like,
Yeah.
understand.
What is the
and
condition
know.
of their soul, their spirit, their emotions,
Yeah.
their mind? Like,
Because
Like,
there's things you could change. Like I joke about the Wu-Tang sweater, but like there's things that you could change.
Yeah.
Like, if he don't dress well, you could buy him clothes.
Yeah.
And, if his hair is a little pitchy, you could take him. You could style him. You could change.
Yeah,
If he's got dry skin, you could buy lotion.
Yeah.
Facts.
These are things you
Facts.
can, you know, change.
These are
and
things.
You can
adjust.
change.
Yeah.
You can adjust.
Yeah.
But
character flaws, like I won't be with somebody that's stingy. Not
Yeah.
that they're frugal, not that they make us, but if you have and you refuse to give me, that's a character flaw.
Yeah, not even give me. If you're just stingy in general, I don't like that. Somebody that's not nice to people. If you treat service
not
people
kind.
bad,
Yeah,
I don't
like real life character
Yeah.
flaws. And
Yeah.
You
so-
don't spend time with your family. That's big to me. I'd be like,
Oh,
do
yeah.
you spend time with your family?
Family
If you have a
oriented.
child, because a lot of
Because if he
we're in the
if he
age where we're
mistreat his
encountering
mama,
people who have
children, it's
people
true.
have children. If you have a child and you do not take care of your child, it's a no for me.
out the door.
It is a no for me.
Absolutely,
I'm not participating in you abandoning a child, because you know what's gonna happen if me and you have a child. Trash.
Yeah.
If me and you have a child, you're going to abandon me and my
you
child.
want you
And
want
there's
boat
no
trips and your child don't have
Yeah.
no clothes for
That's so
school.
true.
Like you want
Yeah.
boat trips and your child hungry. You in Las Vegas and posting on Snap all this
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
but your kid ain't had nothing from you since way back when.
If
like
your
sir,
child don't have a bed in your place of residence,
Yeah, it's a no.
Ain't got
It's a
nothing
no
to-
for
like-
me.
yeah, it's not giving. If you're controlling,
It's a no.
it's a very much come out my face, because I mean I saying this like I don't have to deal with none of this, because but like controlling men that want to control everything and controlling women, I feel like
controlling people, period.
Yes.
they
Yeah.
just like you can't control everything. Everything is not up to you. You have to be able to compromise.
And
if
go
you
with the
can't
flow.
compromise,
You have to be
and
flexible.
if you
like-
have a way back when 1950s mentality where I gotta cook and clean and and you don't know basic life necessities, that ain't biblical. The Bible does not say the wife has to cook every meal.
I'm not
Show
raising
me
up
it.
no man. I can't raise a man.
Girl, he's already grown. What you gonna do? Because no, I'm
Cable
not.
show.
But yeah, girls, yeah, it's so much. I don't think dating is black and white anymore. It's
Yeah, it's
very,
not.
it's very complex.
I wish it was. I want to go back to like the 50s and 60s. I want to be courted.
Like, I don't want to work. Send me
I don't
home.
wanna, not even work. I want
I'm
to be
kidding.
courted. Like sweep me
It's
off
giving,
my feet.
it's giving
Yeah.
Bridgerton.
They
don't even wanna
Let's
take
go
you out on a
on the
date.
ton.
You know?
Yeah.
They
You
don't
can't
even-
even touch my skin. I have
Like,
to wear a
don't
glove.
touch
me.
Like, let's dance type
Give-
of.
Give
Let's
me
go
3
to a
feet
dance.
at all
Bring me
times.
flowers.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't
Okay,
a
so
guy.
wait. This leads me to my last question. Do y'all think chivalry is dead?
Nope.
No,
No,
because
it's
there's
not
some
that.
great.
I
Yeah.
Go ahead.
my boo is a gentleman, and it's funny because I don't like this word, but he had to in a sense retrain me to accept his chivalry, like as far as opening doors, carrying stuff, all of that. And
I
I
still
think
be in shock when Ashton take the bags at the mall. I'd be like, wait, but I could carry it.
and I was just about to say that goes back to what you were saying earlier about hyper independence.
Yeah.
Like we're raised to don't rely on no man, and you got to be able to do for yourself.
We're being raised. I don't know, not nearly, but I feel like a lot of us are raised by single moms or strong single women.
Yeah.
Yep.
So therefore, we picked up that.
Don't
Yeah,
depend on no
strong man.
man.
It's
You
true.
get it on your own.
It's true,
Yeah.
but you have to also leave room for them to do things and
Yeah.
to, because this is
Yeah.
also how they show love
Leave
and this is
room
how
for
they
them
show
to
appreciation. So if
let
you're
them
basically
love
telling them,
you.
I don't need you to show me love how you express it, it's
Yeah.
gonna make them feel like, and this also leads me to, I've been wanting to say this. I don't even know how long we've been recording. The issue with dating 9 times out of 10 is that we as a society, we're conditioned that we're not good enough.
Yes, that
Like
is
in every sense
10,
of the
10, tens across
in
the
every
word.
sense of the word, we're always being told we're not good enough, or like whether down to like advertisements for clothes, like everything, like your job, you feel like you're never making enough money, you feel like your car is never good enough, you feel
Just
like
not enough. Lack
Yeah.
of contentment.
Yeah.
and so that translates to a lot of our relationships where we think either we're not good enough or our relationship's not good enough. And so once if we're approaching our relationships from the mindset of lack, then
That's so good.
we're literally setting ourselves up to fail. And I don't know who that
Yeah.
was for, but it's been on my heart for 30 minutes. So I hope you
that's
listen.
good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
If you
And
think we've been talking for 30 minutes, you funny.
and no, and
we've been
I
talking.
also I agree with you. I don't think chivalry.
57
I don't
minutes.
think chivalry is dead because
Yeah.
I've encountered men that have just like I dated a guy who I like flowers and he was like I don't like roses. Okay, so I told him this. I like if you give me flowers, I don't like roses.
Wait, I'm
just
trying
gonna
to
let you know.
guess what your. Wait, don't tell me what you said your favorite flower was. Does it begin with a P?
Yeah,
Peonies.
Peonies,
You are
yeah.
you give peonies teas.
Yes.
Peonies.
I love those. Yeah.
But I love orchids too. And he says he
taste.
bought on our first date. He bought me an orchid because he's like, I don't buy flowers because flowers die.
beautiful.
I bought you a plant because it would never die. And I was like, that was
That's
like
very intentional.
that was intentional. That was
Yeah.
intentional and thoughtful. And he was
love
like,
romance.
oh, you love orchids. And I was like, that that was beautiful. And so chivalry is not dead and it's still there. But like you said, we
Yeah.
need to allow because that's another thing. Like with men open, even my guy friends that open doors for me, I'd be like, bruh, don't open the door for me.
Yeah.
Then I gotta remember like I don't have to be
So hard.
hard. I can
Yeah.
allow myself to be loved.
And
Yeah.
Yes.
men
I
can
get
allow myself to
soft
be
women when they do what they're supposed to do. When you have a man that's loving you in your love languages, not his, a man that you can be soft with, then you get a soft woman. You can't be
Yeah.
doing the wrong thing and expect her to be soft and vulnerable and want to serve you, because a part of relationships is serving. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
be
good.
trying to outserve Ashton all the time. Like I'd be up, like
Yes.
I'm gonna make your breakfast in the morning, pack your bag, like that. I
Yeah.
like, cause I want to do that. I want to make things easier for you, and that's what it is. But in relationships now, people be counting, and I did this for you, so now you need to.
Yes.
If you're doing it with the intent to receive that back, then
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's never gonna be equal, honestly.
No.
It's not.
But it's so funny because you're saying that I want to serve you, and a lot of people like I saw the thing with that girl talking
I
about
was
submission.
that's been
Yeah.
brewing
And that
on my
was-
spirit.
And that is not submission. That is a and not even like, are you being the way she was talking about? She was mothering her man.
I saw
But
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone, you do, like you said, you want to serve them,
Yeah.
and then they want to serve you too.
Yeah,
It's
she didn't say much
reciprocated.
about
Yeah.
And I
what
don't
he
yeah.
was doing.
Yeah, and
I
that has
didn't
nothing-
She actually did say much about what he did,
Yeah.
and the much is that he don't do nothing.
Nothing.
She, the interviewer asked, she's like, "Oh, I have an A+ in my man," and so she's like, "Well, do you think your man has an A+ in you?" Well,
Ain't
and
no-
that's not
there's
submission.
that's
That is not.
submission.
First of
And
all,
the thing
not-
is, that doesn't keep a man either, because a lot of women think that I'm gonna serve him. I did this for him. I cooked for him. That don't keep a
That
man.
doesn't mean anything.
That don't
Yeah,
mean nothing
yeah.
if
What
he's not
he-
reciprocating it back.
Yeah.
And men do reciprocate it back because they will tell
Yeah,
you.
what he does for you also matters, because people only emphasize with the woman. What is the woman doing at home? No, what is the man doing at home? Is he helping you at all?
is he babysitting his kids? And if he used the term babysitting his kids, he got to go first of all, because those are his
I
kids.
hate
You
that
can't
word.
babysit
Like,
your own kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even that. Like, if you guys work different hours on his day off when you're working, does he cater to you the way you cater to him? If you're busy, will he cook dinner? Will he do the dishes for you? Do you like, does he intentionally plan dates for you guys? Are you the one that's always planning? Are you everything in the relationship, or does he
Yeah.
have a part? Because it's supposed to be 100, not 50,
Yeah.
50.
Oh,
or
yeah. I don't
You
like
better
come on with
20,
the
or however, like
At
he has
all.
to be given something. Like
Yeah.
it's like I said earlier, it's not enough to provide. You
Yeah.
have to love that woman, because when you love her and you take care of her, then it makes her want to submit and take care of you. But these men just want to go to work and come home, fix my food, iron my clothes, do this.
Yeah.
And then especially it's hard for women that have children. So they ain't just taking care of the kids all day. They taking care of your kids and you. And a woman on TikTok was talking about it. Like, if he comes home from work and clocks out while you've been home all day with the kids, no. It's a no. Because going to work is easier than taking care of kids.
It is.
Yeah.
So you went to work
1,000%.
and then you think because you work that disqualifies your duties as a father. No, you get in this house and you better go bed them churn or something. What you think this is a game? Play now.
Said children sound like she said churning.
Churn.
Yeah.
Churning.
Yeah.
There was
But,
a lot of problematic
yeah.
points in that. There was something she also, what did she say? She said, There's
Heal him back to
that. Get out of my brain. That's exactly where I was
goes
going.
Right back to like you can't save no man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She
You
said
can't save
my
nobody.
love can heal. And
only God's love can heal, babe.
yes, but also on the flip side of that, you can tell that her love didn't heal herself, because if she loved herself and if she was a healed woman, you wouldn't be auditioning and you wouldn't be performing and trying to get a man's approval. Because I know, child, I'll be in the blogs. I sponsor the blogs. No, I'm kidding. But I know a little bit of his Cam Newton's history and his dating history. He was with this, I think his ex-girlfriend for, I think like, I don't even know how many years, but you heard how I said ex-girlfriend, right? Okay. And she had 4 kids for him. I think he had a baby on her during their relationship.
He had a baby on her. Yeah.
And so now this new girl is coming behind her, and I just know how narcissistic men operate. That it's always, she never did this, she never did this, she never did this, she never did this.
But it's not even that, because he had a whole interview where he was talking about how women has to be like 1940s,
exactly,
cooking, cleaning,
and
so she's doing exactly what he asked, which probably the other woman did too, and he's just not committed to none of y'all.
Exactly,
none of y'all have a ring.
So the issue is not the women, but it's easier for the man to say that the women that she didn't do XYZ. Yeah. So that it takes the responsibility off of him, and it puts the responsibility back on her to make sure that she's worthy of the commitment and love. Yeah. And
you know what's really funny? And I'm not going to say because it happens all the time, that those same men find a woman that they married to that's the opposite of everything that they wanted.
Yes,
that's the opposite of the girlfriends they had, the baby mamas.
Because that woman be putting them in their place.
Yeah,
they get them right. Like I'm gonna show you what it really is, because I don't know who you've been with before me, but let me show you what it's really like to be with someone who have common sense, because it wasn't them. Obviously.
But these abuse, I will say that can happen, but a lot of times like these mindsets are found in abusive men, and they always just want to maintain that control. So they're not looking to marry anybody. They're not looking
for someone that's dumb.
They're looking to have somebody.
They like the color green,
be gullible, and like I said, a lot of these women aren't whole. They don't love themselves, and that they're following for the first person that said "I love you" or I can give you X, Y, and Z.
Yep, daddy issues. That stems from daddy issues.
Even though I get mad at Khloe Kardashian, I actually feel bad for her. I feel really, really bad for her, because if you think about it, Lamar cheated on her
and then
constantly. Tristan's no different, and I think she just wants someone to love her, and and she's willing to take love any kind of way it can be. Yeah. And it's sad, but she's not the only woman out there. Yeah, we all know a woman that's like that. That would take someone who gives them the bare minimum and be okay with it, and it's not okay. It really isn't. And that's why you gotta be whole. You gotta love yourself. You gotta know who you are. You have to have that high self-esteem. And high self-esteem is not thinking, "Oh, I'm beautiful, I'm this." It's really thinking like
valuing yourself the way God values,
knowing your value.
I have value. I have value, and I deserve better. And I don't think a lot of women can say that. And a lot of women are afraid to say that, because we're taught not to say that. No, but it's okay to say I deserve better, and I can get better, and I know I can.
And also, your value doesn't come from how you look, what you have, what you do. Yes. Your value is simply because of the fact that you exist.
Yeah.
Your value comes from God.
From God. Yeah. You were created with value. There's nothing you can do to earn value. Like, I know we talk about not we. I don't subscribe to this, but high value men and high value women. I saw something and it was like, that's such a disgusting way to refer to people, and it is. We all have value. Your money doesn't determine your value, because you could. What does it say? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? You can be a shell of a person. There's no value in not having a soul behind your eyes. There's no value in not having substance. So.
There's no value in walking around dead.
Come on,
because you're only alive. You're only alive in Christ. And there's no value when people look at you and they think that you're smiling and you're happy, but no, God sees you. Everything. God sees you. He knew you from before you were formed. He knew you. You were placed here on purpose, for a purpose, and nobody in this world can give that purpose to you except for God. I read a verse today that says that who we are is hidden in Jesus, and the only way you're gonna find that is if you seek him. Seek me and you will find me when you seek me with your whole heart. And on that note, y'all, we've been talking for an hour and 7 minutes.
Oh my
wow.
God.
This is probably the longest, but it's so much.
It's so meaty.
Yeah, it's so much.
Like,
We talked
oh my
about a lot of
God, I'm gonna
things.
have so much
Yeah.
fun editing this, y'all.
Child.
But
Yeah.
it has been an amazing talk. This is probably
Yes.
one of my favorite episodes. It has been so good. Y'all are gonna see these ladies again. They ain't going nowhere. They are part of my face circle. I get on their nerves and vice versa. You know the vibes.
Yes.
They
you
my
ain't got
girl.
on my nerves yet.
That's fine.
You haven't. You haven't.
I
They're
get
my
on Nikki's nerves.
they're my
But you're my
sisters
soul
in
sister. You're my
Christ,
soul sister.
and I
We're
love
together
them
forever.
all very
We love
very
you.
much.
We love you too. We love you a
I'm
lot.
loved.
And let me just honor you real quick. Ooh. I just want to honor this beautiful woman of God, my
I'm
sister.
emotional.
This beautiful
in Christ.
soul.
Oh my God.
Don't cry.
Thank you for hosting us and thank you for creating this
Yes.
platform and for allowing God to use you.
Yes.
And you don't even know how many lives and whose lives you're touching.
Yes.
You don't know the life change
true.
that you facilitated just
I'm
because
so-
of your yes. So thank you for your obedience and thank you for your
Yes.
yes to God.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
So annoying.
Trying to get my life together. Well, we put our hands in at the end of every episode and we say MTC on 3. Wait, I forgot. Their socials are gonna be down below in the description. If they want them to be there, y'all can follow them on IG or whatever. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to be notified anytime we post a new video. Y'all know
Yes.
Tuesdays 9 a.m. we lit.
We litty.
So until next time, MTC on 3. 1, 2, 3.
MTC.
Bye guys.